All right, let's go ahead and do this the fun way. We're just going to record this from the beginning. So this is going to end up being very long, but this is literally going to be the entire process of creating an older video on my channel, the old Rantsona videos that I used to do all the time. We're going to make one of those from basically scratch, and then just to show people how they used to be done, and kind of one of the reasons why I don't do those types of videos anymore, but let's make it a little more interesting. We're not just going to do those videos in my old style. We're going to try to recreate one of those videos from the ground up. It's going to make it to where this is going to look like a video that was ripped out of 2017. So the first thing we need to do is we need to decide on a background, because we're going to have a character that is placed on a moving background. It's going to be a very, very static image. So what we need to do is we need to find a good moving background. Luckily, I still have all my moving backgrounds from back when I used to do this all the time. I still have all of them right here. So we are just going to go ahead and grab one of these from here. So let's see here. We're going to take, I think we'll take this one. This background works. So now we need to make this background go all the way to the end of the video. So to do that, we're going to unlink it from its audio source. We're going to try to unlink it from its audio source. And now we've got just the video isolated. In order to get the video itself to loop all the way around, we do this very, very rough thing called copy and pasting it a lot of times. And we'll move this to the bottom of our timeline here. So now we've got this little loop right here. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and kill the background music there. I like having background music when I'm doing my streams, but it's not going to help out for what we're doing here. So now we've got our little motion background here. We need an opening. Luckily, on my channel, I've already got an opening, but we can use, say, a opening from Fiverr that you spent a little bit of money on. That's an idea that you have there, but we're going to have my regular opening. Jassa says, why kill the music? What did it ever do to you? Well, you see, it pissed on my wife, and I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that. And I don't think she was into it either. The next thing we need to do is we are doing a video response. So I've already downloaded a video, and I've made it a little smaller, so it's sitting right about here. I can move it around, I can zoom in on it, I can get it where I need it to go, but this looks kind of unnatural, just having the video here like this. So what do we do to solve that problem? Well, we need something that looks like a television almost. We need something that looks like it's supposed to hold this video here. So I've got a little PNG right here, a little PNG of a TV. So now we need to go ahead and extend it so that it is long enough to account for all of this video. The TV only needs to exist in the exact world that this video exists in. It doesn't need to be anywhere else. And we're going to move these a little higher because we are going to have two more things in frame in just a second. Now, these things are not where they need to be, not in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to take this TV, and we are going to position it using these sliders here in DaVinci Resolve about here. And then we're going to take this video, and we're going to get it to where it looks like it needs to be there. There we go. And now, when I play the video...
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
Me?
Creator?
Yeah, so I'm...
Okay, so here he's about to explain why he finds it hard to believe in God.
All right, so we've got that part here. So now, anytime that we find an area that we want to respond to, we are just going to select both of these clips at the same time, and then we're going to hit Control B, which on DaVinci Resolve will split part of this clip here, and I can move it around on the timeline. And you'll see why that matters in a second. So, but for now, it's going to sit exactly as it is. Now, the only stuff that I have on this timeline so far are this bottom area, this background, which you saw us go ahead and grab. This is just a loop from World of Warcraft Classic. This will give us a space so it seems like our character is actually in an environment. And then we've got our opening, which we have already seen, which is right here. It is up to you whether your opening is at the beginning of a video or if it is after a cold open. After a cold open technically works better. It is better to have an opening after a cold open. The only reason I don't do that now is to cut down on editing time since I do all of my stuff live. The only other thing that I have is this right here. This is my credits section. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are... Now, my credits section is literally just a handful of still images all put together to create the idea of motion. And then my actual Patreon slides here and my credits. As for how to make your credits, it's very, very easy. Just everybody you want to credit, just put them in literally a notepad document and then make a text. There's the ability to create a text object in DaVinci Resolve. When you create that text object, all you do is you populate it with the stuff that is in your notepad and then tell it to scroll. Now, I already have all of my stuff pre-made because here's the other thing that you need to know about doing content creation. Anything you can do that saves you time is good, and it's very, very important. So my credit section, if you see, there's a lot of moving pieces in my credit section, a ton. There's a bunch of different slides here. There's the moment here where I'm speaking. There's the actual opening, ending credits. There's an animation. There's, you know, ending music. You've heard 1,000 times. This, or rather, hold on. I noticed something. My actual ending music isn't where it's supposed to be. Let's figure out where that ending music has gone. Let's figure out where that's gone. So is it anywhere on these tracks here? It does not appear to be on these tracks here. Is it on these tracks here? It does not appear to be on them. So, now we need to figure out why there is no audio here. Everyone else that helps keep this channel alive while you're here. In order to do that, we're just going to go ahead and grab our ending music. I did not realize that it was not in my base file already. It's supposed to be in my base file all the time, but apparently it's not, which is weird and confusing. Here it is. This makes sense. So people have been telling me in my comment section that my ending music has been showing up in the middle of some videos, and I guess this is where it's been the entire time. It has been in the middle of videos, because it's supposed to be linked to these clips here, and it got unlinked. So now, thank you for watching. Now that's how it sounds. Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you. I'm not saying that part. And Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive while you're here. I see what's going on. It's not linking. There it is. Now they're all linked together the way they're supposed to be. So, did that in the Gods Gang video. It's done in a lot of my videos. I might need to just remake those videos and put them back up and you know, have them corrected. Maybe that would be a okay thing to do. But now I know that that issue has been there, and now I know why. I guess it took me literally sitting here and making an edited version of a video to find that. So, just so you know, this is one of the side effects sometimes of making a video with a bunch of still assets that are all put in an area for you. Sometimes you just lose. You lose your pieces
Why not check
that are supposed to be here. They're just gone. Mackie Himiko says it's a little weird, but it's nothing to delete the video over. If you're sure. If you're sure. Thank you for the sip, Rosalind. I didn't catch that when it happened. But it will be corrected in future videos. It'll be fixed now. It'll be fixed now that we know what's going on. So, what do we do now? Well, now we need us. We've got the video we're going to be responding to. We've got our background. We've got our opening, everything. What we don't have is us. We don't have a representation of a person that can go in here. Doesn't YouTube punish you for re-uploading correction vids? You know, good point. It does do that. So let's not worry with that. So now we need to find our character. So luckily for me, I have... Where did I put it? Suris avatar. Original. I have my original avatar right here. So we can actually take this avatar. And we need a couple things here. We have this version of the avatar, and then we have this version of the avatar. We have a default speaking avatar and a watching avatar. So a watching avatar we're going to throw in here now. So we've got him here. Now, here's the funny thing. Our watching avatar, he needs to be wherever the video is. He will always need to be wherever the video is because he is the one watching the video. That's an idea that I wanted to keep, that I kind of basically took it from Apologia. The idea of having the avatar who's watching it. So now we've got our character here, and we need to position them over here. But there's a thing that's missing. We need to also have our character speaking when they're not looking at those videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put our speaking avatar here. And the reason we're going to put them here isn't because this is where they're supposed to be, but it's because we want our characters to match up basically 1-to-1. So 1, 3, 5, 6... we want them to be in the exact same location. So when we zoom them, when we get them to the size they need to be, we want them here. Now we're going to cut off the bottom of our character's feet, because by cutting off the bottom of our character's feet, it makes it look like they're standing in the environment. What your eyes don't see, they will basically fill in the gaps on. Now we have a problem, though. Our character's not facing the right way. Now we've got two ways we can handle this. We can either take our character and flip them around, or we can just slide them to the other side of the screen. Now, watching my videos now, I sit on the right-hand side of the screen. I have my character on the left-hand side of the screen. I have my stuff I'm looking at on my left-hand side of the screen. But I think we're just going to take the easy way out, and we're just going to position him this way. And then we're going to position the television and its innards this way. Now, we also might want to zoom in on these a little bit, and they've gotten kind of funky because I've done this. So we're going to make this sit a little better. When you grab screen elements that are not the same size, they can tend to get a little wonky. There we go. Now we've got our look. We've got what we're wanting. So we're going to have our character here. So now we've got looking at the video, and then when the video is not being, when the video is being talked about versus when the video is there. We're missing another thing, though. Another weird thing that we probably want. So there's a thing that I used to do on my characters all the time that I'm torn on whether I want to do on this video, and it's making my characters blink. And it's a very, very simple thing to do. All you do is you just have a frame where the eyes are closed. That's all it has to be. And to make it look like that character is blinking, we copy all of our variables from here. So we're going to copy the zoom. The zoom is 1.9.1. 1.9.1. And then position is 1326. 1326. And then 93. But we've created a problem. It's actually supposed to be negative 93 and negative 1326. And now, when my character is blinking, we get the idea that a character is blinking. It's very, very small, and it's very rudimentary. But how do we make it not seem weird? Well, human beings, we do not blink at regular intervals. We have moments of eye flutter. We have moments where things do not exactly process right. We hold our eyes closed for longer periods of time. So how do we make that work? How do we make that function for a character? Well, all we're going to do is we're going to cut off little intervals. And now when a character's speaking, there's going to be moments where there's long blinks. There's going to be moments where the blinks will happen very quickly. And now we want moments where the eyes will just flutter. Very, very small. So now, and then this should not be cut out. Now we should have this here. How are we going to make a character's eyes basically flutter? We're going to get in really small. And then we're just going to copy these here. Now, we get a little area where the eyes are fluttering. And it feels inconsequential, but it will add a little bit to the realism of the blinking. So now we're just going to have that there. Make this one just a little smaller. So we've got long periods where the character does not blink. We've got a couple areas where the blinking will flutter. And now, all that's left to do is to take these moments, pull them over to the beginning of our timeline on our character, and just copy-paste them. And now our character will look like this. Blink, 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 blink. Now, there's a couple issues with this. The character looks like they're blinking too much. They are rapidly blinking. So what we're going to do is we will just add in decent stretches where the character is not blinking. And then on some of these, we're going to space these out a decent bit. We've already done the work in making things look a little more natural. So we're going to take these more spaced out blinks, put them here, and now we can take this more spaced out blinking area and copy this all the way down. And then we kill this part here. And now we need to make sure that our program thinks of this as one giant object. So all we have to do is take this and select Link Clips. And by linking the clips, now no matter what we do, they will move as a single object. How's it going, Hypesci? They will always move as a single object. Now, we run into another problem. Well, what do we do with these here? Well, there's a reason that I've taken my clips with the blinking and my clips where I'm going to be looking at a video, and I've put them on different layers. If we take our clips of us looking at the video and we just move it over the clips where I'm supposed to be speaking, automatically, anytime the video comes up, this will happen. We don't even have to remove the character from the bottom of the screen. Automatically, when the screen needs to come up, the character's eyes will turn to the screen, and we will see exactly what we are trying to do. Because here's the thing. When you're making content like this, it's not about actually making a character blink. It's not about actually making a character animate. It's about providing enough information for the viewer so that their brains can fill in the rest of that information for you. The blinks are there solely because there's something for your brain to concentrate on when you're speaking. The moving background is there so that there's something for your brain to concentrate on while your character is speaking. The video is in a video screen, not because it needs to be, but because it just looks more natural in there. It looks like it's supposed to be there as opposed to just kind of floating in nowhere. And now all that's left is to figure out how we're going to voice our character. But that's pretty simple. So if you've ever used a program called Audacity, it's this lovely little program right here. And when I speak into the program, you can hear me speak back. But we need to make it so where it's easier on us to produce content. Now, what you can do is you can record your entire thing in here and then have like a mental idea of your timestamps of when you're cutting videos and all that fun stuff. There's an easier way. So let's record a quick opening here. So let's do something like, well, apparently I have to suffer today. And if I have to suffer, so do you. Because Neil deGrasse Tyson has some words about God. That opening doesn't sound right. It sounds, I don't know, a little bland and boring. So we're going to try that again. We're going to try a different version of that. We know our video is about a Christian YouTuber who thinks that it's okay that we suffer because the Bible says so. So how about this? This video is going to be suffering because the Bible told me so. There we go. Now we've got an opening that might sound a little better. And we need to make it to where that opening is far away from all of our stuff. It's far away from anything else we are doing. So, in order to do that, all we're going to do is we are going to generate silence. We will generate 3 seconds of silence. And it's going to put it on a new track because Audacity is stupid. We don't want it on a new track, so we're going to cut, and then we're going to paste. Now there will be 3 seconds of silence after everything I say. What this will do is when our waveform is complete, when we've got a 10 to 20 minute recording of audio, every moment that we are supposed to be letting the video play, the audio will already tell us where we need to go. Also, how's it going, Cherry? So, for instance, there's our opening, and now this is where the opening would play, and now we need to introduce our video. So, what are we going to do here? We're going to say, so there's a Christian YouTuber right now with over 1 million subscribers, and they have a video going over why it's okay for us to suffer because God tells us so. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not really big on suffering. So how about we go ahead and let them do the talking, and then we'll see if we have any responses to some of the shenanigans that might come up during this. So it's not a whole lot. It's not the best opening you can think of, and if there's a new opening that you want to do for that, then you can record that over again. But since I just recorded it, now we just have to paste in silence. So now, the next time we record, it'll automatically be after the silence. And I have a cat who needs to get out of my office, so give me just a minute. Okay. Get out, out, out. My roommate's cat is the most destructive force on the planet, and she needs to not be in my office when I'm doing my work. I swear to God. So, now, we've got an automatic system for showing our character speaking. We have an automatic system for knowing where we're supposed to cut our video. Now all that's left to do is to record our video, and doing so is pretty simple. We have the video playing here. So we are going to select all of these, and we are going to link these clips because we want them to be the same clip. So no, kitty, stay. Not when I'm working. You would not want a destructive hurricane running around your office while you are trying to do any type of work at all, and I don't want one running around mine. So, we go here, and we play the video.
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
Me?
Creator?
Yeah, so I'm...
Okay, so here he's about to explain why he finds it hard to believe in God.
The more I look at the universe, just the less convinced I am that there is something benevolent going on. So if your concept of a creator is someone who's all powerful and all good, all powerful and all good, and I look at disasters that afflict Earth and life on Earth, volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, disease, pestilence, congenital birth defects. You look at this list of ways that life is made miserable on Earth by natural causes.
So far, there's not really an area where we need to interject. Our goal in a video response is not to agree with the person who is speaking. Our goal is to offer counterpoints when we need to. It will prevent the video from being a 50 to 60 minute affair when we're done.
And I just ask, how do you deal with that? If there is a God, God is either not all powerful or not all good. How do you deal with that?
How do you deal with that? Well, I think that's a good question. When I speak with agnostics and atheists, they say the same thing. How could a good God allow for a creation that has so many issues? Well, in short, I think we have to humbly ask ourselves if our assumptions about God are part of what's holding back our belief in God.
All right, so here we already can think of an area where we might have something to say. So we are going to go ahead and cut. And now this part will freely move. And these parts, they are all linked together still as one object. This is an area where we know that we have a response. So what is our response to that when somebody says, maybe it's our assumptions about God that are holding us back? Well, if a Christian is telling me that a God is supposed to be all good and he loves me, I would assume certain things about that God. One of the things I would assume about that God is that they would have my best interest at heart, and I would think that my best interest at heart would mean, I don't know, not randomly developing ass cancer. But as it turns out, we unfortunately have a deity here who would let me randomly develop ass cancer, and because he would allow that, I would have to assume he doesn't have my best interest at heart, since I can't really do a whole lot with my life if I'm dead of ass cancer. Now, while this particular response is very, very inflammatory, like the ass cancer would be, while this response is inflammatory, we're trying to accomplish two things here. One is we are trying to add a bit of a comedic tone to it. After all, when we are making a video, our goal is to be entertaining. Our goal is to try to use humor to provide levity, even if we are doing something. Now, a good thing you can do is make it so where if you want to say something horrible, say something horrible about yourself. you can be the target of any number of jokes because at the end of the day, you get to decide if those jokes are okay to say against you. So if I say a joke about developing a debilitating, terminal, and deadly disease, I'm the one who needs to be the subject of that. Because at the end of the day, even though I don't want to have cancer, I want to be the person who is the target of that joke because it is a mean-spirited joke. I can either throw it at the god, whom I don't believe exists, or I can throw it at me. I can't really throw it at anybody else. You don't want to tell somebody else you hope they develop a deadly disease. That's not really fair to them. Not really. So, as opposed to responding to the rest of this video in the how to make a video section, let's just have this bit here, because you can fill in the blanks on the rest of this pretty easy, I'd imagine. So what we're going to do is we are going to record about 10 seconds of silence. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are we recording 10 seconds of silence? That sounds really weird, but there's a reason for it. We're going to select that 10 seconds of silence. We are going to go into our effects area, and we are going to go to the noise removal tool. We're going to go to noise reduction, and we're going to select Get Noise Profile. See, Audacity has the ability to remove noise from our background audio, but it has to know what noise sounds like first. So we hit Control-A to select all of our audio. We go to Effects, we go to Noise Removal, and then we go ahead and remove noise. Now, if you notice, the waveform changed very, very slightly. Here is how it sounds without here's how it sounds with the noise reduction. This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. And this is how it sounded without the noise reduction. This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. So if you hear, there's this little bit of background noise you can hear here. But by adding the noise reduction, now it sounds like this. Now that there's nothing there, we have to ask ourselves another question. Do we sound okay in this audio? If we think we do, the video's going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. Then we're done. But if we want to clean it up a little more, let's say you have a lower-end microphone. You've got a Yeti microphone, a USB 5-fine, something like that, and you've got some cleaning up to do. You've got a little bit of a tinny sound to your voice. You go into volume and compression and apply a compressor tool to your audio. And then after you do so, you want to make sure that you don't peak. So we're going to go to normalize our audio as well. Volume and compression, normalize, everything will be normalized to -1 decibel. Now our audio sounds like this. This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. But we can do one more thing to it. We want to add some body to our voice. After all, YouTube is primarily an audio experience. It may not tout itself like that, but think of how many YouTube videos you've watched. How many of them were watched while you were in a car? How many of them were watched while you were taking a shower? How many of them were watched while you were cooking food? A lot of times people use YouTube as background audio. And so, to add a little more oomph to our voice, what we're going to do is we're going to go into bass and treble and add about 6 decibels of bass and treble to our voice. Right here. And now it'll sound like this. This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. Now, how does that sound compared to this? This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. The differences are very, very minimal. Very, very, very minimal. But the end result is a much cleaner sounding product. It is a much more oomphy, a much more bodily, girthy product. Insert your own penis jokes here. Just don't insert your penis into it. So, how do we make this all come together in a video? Well, we export this as an MP3. And let's go ahead and put it somewhere we know we're going to use it. Use in every video. Let's see here. Test audio for Tyson video. We go ahead and save that as an MP3 or as a WAV. It really doesn't matter which one you save it as. We go to use in every video. We know we entitled it Test Audio. So we're going to go ahead and pull that in. Now we have our test audio right here. Now remember what I said. These spaces right here are the spaces that automatically tell us where we need to cut. So we're just going to go ahead and cut here. We do this so that we can cut quickly and easily, and we don't have a whole lot to do work-wise. So we cut here, we cut here, and now we automatically know, because we've done our cuts the way we have, that this is how the video is supposed to play. We take our initial audio that plays before our cold open, and then we scroll over to where that cold open is, and we pull it in front of our audio. Our character is right here, so we need our character pulled back this way. And now our beginning sounds like, or looks like this. As soon as it's done loading, which will take a second, because we added a lot of blinks. This video is going to be suffering, because the Bible told me so. And now, with that being the end of the cold open, we drag our full open to the video right here. We want it to be right as it's fading in. So there's a Christian YouTuber right now with over 1 million subscribers, and they have a video going over why it's okay for us to suffer because God tells us so. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not really big on suffering. So how about we go ahead and let them do the talking, and then we'll see if we have any responses to some of the shenanigans that might come up during this. So there's our full open. Now all we have to do is drag our video here. Make sure that it lines up about right with the ending of our statement. And then we just have to drag our response here. So now, and then when it's over,
God allowed for a creation that has so many issues. Well, in short, I think we have to humbly ask ourselves if our assumptions about God are part of what's holding back our belief in God.
So we know that our audio played at the same time there, so we know it's not positioned correctly. So we put our audio here, and now
in God.
Well, if a Christian is telling me that a God is supposed to be all good and he loves me, I would assume certain things about that God. One of the things I would assume about that God is that they would have my best interest at heart, and I would think that my best interest at heart would mean, I don't know, not randomly developing ass cancer. But as it turns out, we unfortunately have a deity here who would let me randomly develop ass cancer, and because he would allow that, I would have to assume he doesn't have my best interest at heart, since... So, you may be wondering what these are that are playing as I'm speaking. So, these are calls to action. A call to action to subscribe, which was done by Mosh. A call to action to ring the bell notification icon. This one was done by Cute Dark Arts, also known as Mr. Stopheles. So, these are also part of my base file. These are here just to quickly distract from the viewer. They add a little bit of visual flair that makes your eyes immediately swivel to them to remind you, hey, I need to go ahead and subscribe, or hey, I need to go ahead and hit the bell notification icon. It's okay for them to be over your character. It's okay for wherever they are to look a little messy, because the entire point of them is to pull the attention away from whatever the viewer's focusing on, to look at them for a minute so that they go, oh shit, I should probably sub. Oh shit, I should probably, you know, I should probably hit the bell notification icon. I should probably become a patron. I should probably do this, or this. So, now we know what it's going to look like as our character is looking at the screen. We know what it's going to look like when they're responding to something. We know what it's going to look like at every stage here, because we would rinse and repeat this for the entirety of this video. And it's a 13-minute video, so it might take a little while to get to the end here. In the end, when we are done, we would have an end of the video. So we would just have our character say, oh, I don't know. We do a recording where we go, and that's about all there is to that. Now, I disagree with a lot of stuff that was said in this video, and honestly, it really didn't convince me that a God exists. But apparently, there are some people, 1.3 million of them, that might actually be convinced by this. So I just have to ask yourself, I have to ask you a question. If you are convinced of this, what would you say if you immediately developed ass cancer right now? Would that make you thankful for the trials and tribulations God has given you? Or would that make you, I don't know, maybe a little resentful that he did that? After all, if a parent were to give you, oh, I don't know, a deadly disease or a terminal illness, you probably wouldn't be too happy with that parent. But somehow we make the very weird special exception when it comes to God. And I don't really understand that. But maybe you would have a reason that we need to do that. Maybe you have a disagreement with that. And if you do, maybe let me know in the comment section below. After all, I do want to invite discussion on this video, and I want to make sure that everybody has their voices heard. So let me know what you think in the comment section down there. And as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here. Now, that's a very rough ending, and it's not even taking into account anything that was actually said in the video. But we literally will just take this ending here and paste it in here the exact way we did our other audio, and then just place our credits at the end of that. That's literally all we would do. Now, I know that I didn't do the entirety of the video because I don't want this to be a 2 to 3 hour video when this goes up on my channel, but I wanted to do this because a long time ago there was a subscriber of mine that wanted me to do a video on how I make videos, a how-to on how I constructed them from the beginning to the end. And I never really wanted to do that video, but now that I do an entirely different kind of video, I want to do that. I want to actually make that how I created those older videos, and as a treat for people on the subathon, I'm going to be finishing this video in full and making an entire video in the exact style of my older content. It's a Roro says, why did you make your end of video tagline? Insert end of video tagline here. Because I couldn't find a good way to sound off videos. Like, everybody had some really neat way to end their videos or some really interesting way to begin their videos, and I could not think of one, so I just defaulted to insert end of video tagline here. I couldn't think of anything interesting to say, so I wanted you to fill in the blanks on the interesting thing to say. But anyway, that is how I used to make videos. That is a tutorial on how to make them yourself if you want to make them as well. Every single program that was used in here is a free program. This is, I used Audacity, I used DaVinci Resolve, and you can use pretty much any cheap or free image editing software, and you can use OBS as a capture tool to grab backgrounds for videos if you want. Just grab them from video games that you enjoy playing, stuff like that. It's really, really easy to build those older style of videos. And if you want a type of video you can make where you can get your mind just, you know, let the things that you need to say come off your chest very easily in a way that you can edit down the things you say if you feel like you stumbled over some words or something, here's an easy way to do it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I figured this would be an interesting experiment, show people how this stuff used to be done, and as always, everybody, insert end of video tagline here.